The Fourth and Goal Podcast.
That's all it is. But there's a lot of airspace to cover for Milroe. Still looking. Firing. Near corner. It's caught! Touchdown, Alabama!
Strebler dials it up. End zone! Touchdown! They're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles! Touchdown!
There ain't no podcast like the Fourth and Goal Podcast. Like, hit that subscribe button and share.
And welcome to the Fourth and Goal Podcast here on this beautiful Thursday evening where Virginia Tech currently leads Boston College 28-14. Have no idea what's going on in the NFL game because I refuse to give Jeff Bezos more money than he already has. So
right.
I'll take a look at the score right now for you guys.
I never noticed the Lawrence Tech flag in your room there.
Yeah, no, I put it up last year and then I just haven't taken it down or found anything else to put up. Oh, the Broncos are leading 16-3 at halftime. Oh wow. Oh yeah, Javonte Williams is just playing well. That's good. That's
good.
Very
he was
good.
really good back before he blew his knee out.
Yeah, I mean, he's on my fantasy team. So hey man.
There you go, bro.
Oh, he's at 17 points already. Oh, geez. Kamara needs to step it up though. But
yeah,
that's all right.
Saints are toast, bro.
Well, I mean, as long as they just want to dink and dunk it to him like 10 times a game, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, we want to jump right into this. We got a decent amount of games on the schedule, and we got a couple surprises for you guys. Obviously, we'll give our upset picks of the week, but I have a few in mind. I don't know what yours is, Justin.
No. Well, I can't give it out yet. You know what I mean? We're going to have to wait and see, aren't we?
Yes, we are. All right.
We don't have the same pick.
To start off on Saturday at noon Eastern time, Arizona State and Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 5. Arizona State, as we mentioned on the show yesterday, is going to be starting Jeff Sims.
Yep.
And he's going to be kind of the X factor in this game for Arizona State because, I mean, Cincinnati's been pretty solid so far this season at a 4-2 record. Only losses coming against a pretty good Pitt team. And then they also took a loss to Texas Tech in a shootout, classic 12 fashion. I don't know how good Cincinnati is, man. They have they're solid defensively for the most part. Sorsby's been a solid quarterback this season, having 13 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yep.
They can run the ball a little bit. They can do a little bit of everything. It's a very balanced team. I haven't watched too much Cincinnati this year. I've watched Arizona State. Very well coached offense. Their defense has been kind of a bright spot for them, especially in clutch moments. They're not letting teams get up big 40-point numbers on them. The most points they've allowed this season, I believe, has been 31, but they ended up winning that game versus Kansas State anyways. Or Kansas, sorry, anyways. So this is a good test for both teams. Kind of give us your thoughts, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about Arizona State a little bit yesterday. As you mentioned, Jeff Sims, the journeyman of college football, making the start for the Sun Devils. We talked a lot about Kenny Dillingham, a guy that I think both of us really love, and obviously one of the hottest rising players in the country, and Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cincinnati, Brendan Sorsby, he's had some pretty big games this year. He's thrown for over 400 yards once and almost did it again in their opener. Likes to throw the ball to Xavier Henderson. He's kind of their number one receiver. Kiner is a pretty good back. He's kind of been cooling off a little bit. They kind of just eked out a win against UCF in their last game.
UCF's not the team that we thought coming in.
They're struggling, man. And the spread in this game, Cincy favored by 5 at home. I think Arizona State's kind of a hot team right now with a hot player and a hot coach. I really like Arizona State in this matchup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know since he's favored by 5, this is not eligible for upset pick of the week.
Almost.
almost, because I would have definitely picked it, but
Yeah, we would have been fighting over it.
yeah. Andrew probably would have been fighting. Well, maybe not, but yeah, no, I think this is a good testament for, or this would be a good test for Arizona State once again this week. You know, they get a win versus Utah last week. So, I mean, this is going to be I think it's going to be that same type of game. Just try to find edges and ways to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. At Arizona State, you know, they win tough and they play tough, and I like them to go on the road. I would just wonder what Vegas knows to suggest that spread being so kind of wide.
I think because Levitt is hurt, but because I mean, they're projecting what Sims was at Nebraska, which was a terrible quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think like Sims still has a lot of potential within him.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw those glimpses at Georgia Tech, and this is probably not the most mature thing to do, but I think you're going to see more of the the Georgia Tech version rather than the Nebraska version, because that Nebraska team was awful.
Yeah, I was going to say that offense was pretty bad.
Like Chubba Purdy was terrible. The Hoiberg was terrible. Like there was really no quarterback that could really fit inside that system. So I think this is just giving him time to develop, and he's getting a shot, which is nice.
And he was good at Georgia Tech, and he was a highly recruited kid coming out of high school too.
BC has scored 21 unanswered.
Oh my gosh! Here goes Virginia Tech just blowing shit in the bed again.
Well, they've had 2 turnovers. Kyron Drones. All right. Anyways, I'll provide live updates as we go through the show. All right, we want to get into this next one.
Yeah.
Army is sneaking into the top 25 along with their counterpart Navy, playing Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina, you know, not the greatest team by any means.
No.
Garcia's been really been a turnover machine at QB. They've gone to Caton Hauser a little bit, and he hasn't been very good either. I think Justin just wanted to talk about Army.
No, yeah.
For you guys that don't know, the behind the scenes work, Justin does a really good job of putting our shows together, despite me going off into like 18 different planets on our show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Army deserves their flowers this year, man.
No, this was definitely, I felt like a good opening, a good opportunity. Here at 4th and Goal, we like to be ahead of the curve, and Army is a top 25 team, so we have to talk about them. We don't discriminate here on 4th and Goal podcast. We like to talk about everybody, and we wanted to talk about one of our academy schools here who feature a really good player, actually, in Bryson Daly. Only 482 passing yards, probably still more than any quarterback on Michigan's roster. But obviously, you know, the thing with Army is he's a quarterback that runs. He's got 14 rushing touchdowns. He's got 6 passing touchdowns. He's accounted for 20 touchdowns total. I mean,
dude, BC just wants it. What? Okay, hold on. I might need to do something real quick. You keep talking.
And Army, I mean, they haven't played anybody really at all, but they've smashed everybody that they've played so far. Probably really won't get a test until they play Air Force on November 2nd. They do have Notre Dame on the schedule a little later on down the road, and they end the season with Navy, who another academy school that's in the top 25. But I mainly wanted to get this one on here to show some Army love, and I think it'll actually make for a nice little clip for us, you know, to expand our horizons a little bit and on what we talk about around here.
Yeah, sorry, may or may not be doing a premature live bet right now. Yeah, no, Army is I mean, this is a team that's averaging damn near 7 yards per carry. No one's been able to really stop them this season. Now their offense isn't like historically amazing, but I mean, dude, in their last 3 games against Temple, Tulsa, and UAB, they've put up 40 plus points, put up 37 against Rice. Like, this is a team that's getting it done against these teams that typically they struggle with. You know, I mean, it's It's nice to see. Virginia Tech just went 3-0, by the way.
There goes drones and Virginia Tech just.
Big Thomas Castellanos comeback. They did get a good punt, but yeah, no, I really like Army in this situation. In terms of Eastern Carolina, not much to say.
No, there's not much to say. We wanted to give our servicemen a little bit of love here. That's all that was. You know what I mean? We don't have to really talk too much about this game because I mean it's a 16-point spread. It's kind of wide, but definitely wanted to throw Army in the mix, and there'll be some more academy stuff coming from us as the season goes along.
Yeah, I mean, that Army Navy game could be a college football playoff indicator.
Yeah.
All right, please, Boston College. All right, next game. My Cardinals, who got it done last week. I thought they were going to lose in the upset pick of the week. They take on Miami this week. They are at home. It is looking like they're going to be playing in some sick blacked out jerseys. Shout out to Louisville's football's social media. Miami's, they had the bye week and then the previous 2 weeks against Cal and then Virginia Tech. Yeah, I don't know. They've been really solid. So
yeah, Miami's. I mean, offensive-wise, they're rolling. They've struggled in the last 2 weeks against some pretty average offenses, which is a sign of concern against Virginia Tech and Cal. I mean, Cam Ward's putting up video game numbers, obviously. They've kind of spread the wealth a little bit here this year. It's been Restrepo, it's been Arroyo, it's been Horton, it's been George. And kind of really haven't got the run game going with Martinez yet. And I think if Louisville plays a clean game, I think that Louisville can challenge Miami's defense. Louisville's not really a prolific offense in their own right. They've struggled a little bit here. I mean, obviously dropping games against Notre Dame and SMU looking kind of underwhelming, and barely snuck out a win against Virginia. I just wonder if Virginia is kind of reeling a little bit Louisville's kind of reeling a little bit right now. They haven't been playing well. Miami, as we mentioned, kind of not really playing well on the defensive side in the last 2 games.
No,
I just wonder what gives here. And I like Louisville to keep this game close. Talk more about that at length in another segment.
Yeah, Louisville, I'm expecting a big Isaac Brown game though, and I think if that's going to be the X factor for Louisville in this game. He is a freshman running back from Florida who ended up going to Louisville, and Louisville does a pretty good job of recruiting the southern region, especially in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And I want to see a Tyler Shuck breakout game. And if there's anything that I like, it's when Louisville is a big underdog at home, not a big underdog, but an underdog at home on a big stage. Brown knows typically how to get it done. So,
yeah. And Brown and Ja'Cory Brooks kind of been their guys and their focal points of their offense the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And Colin Lacey's been a guy that's been able to come back, and I think they're still trying to figure out what his role is in this offense. So, but
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty close game, kind of how Miami's been doing it. If they want to separate themselves in our 4th and goal polls, you know what I mean, they can come out and get a big win,
or they could lose
win against the struggling Louisville team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Louisville. They need to find and they did this stuff last year where they just like played really close games, but in some big games they got it done pretty well. So I guess it's just a kind of wait and see for them. So
yeah.
I don't know. All right, Big Ten action in Nebraska versus Indiana. Indiana playing their first real opponent of the season.
Their first real game of the season.
I mean, let me just break down the schedule to you. For those of you that don't know the absolute absurd talent that Indiana's played this season. At Florida International University, they do have the Pitbull Stadium now, so I guess that's good. Western Illinois, don't know much about them. At
No.
UCLA, it's a tough game, man. You got to go to the other side of the state now. Is UCLA that good of a team?
Yeah.
Home versus Charlotte. Charlotte, they have a football team. Maryland's not bad, but not great. You let them score 28. I mean, Billy Edwards is solid, but not great. And then Northwestern, I mean, you won 41-24, but you had to pull away in the fourth quarter. They have not played a defense like this whatsoever. Say what you want about UCLA. They ain't Nebraska on defense. And then offensively, with Nair in the receiving room, it's an underrated receiving core at Nebraska. I think this is one that gets underlooked when you start breaking it down. And it's because, Nebraska is just not known the team that's not going to throw the ball around too much. I mean, Raiola does. But I mean, Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nair are their two leading pass catchers, and I think they're going to be looking to take the top off against Indiana in this game this week.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the season. Indiana's been a nice story. Disclaimer: Andrew is the only one in the fourth and goal team that put them in his top 12 this week. But it starts this week with Nebraska, then it follows with Washington, and then they have Michigan State, then they have Michigan, Ohio State, and then you can say what you want about Purdue. Rourke he's been really good this year, and Surratt has been a nice receiver for them. They're gonna be tested against Nebraska's defense, who put the clamps down on Rutgers last week. Didn't really allow much to Purdue. They've given up a season high 24 points against Illinois. Other than that, this Nebraska defense, man, is actually really good. Raiola Raiola's been a good game manager for them. He hasn't been too prolific this season. They really don't have huge playmakers on their team, but this Nebraska team is basically mainly predicated on defense, and that's what I'm excited to see in this game the most is Indiana's offense against Nebraska's defense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of playmakers on the Indiana offensive side. The thing that concerns me about Indiana is defensively. I mean, they haven't looked like they haven't played a complete game defensively yet. Meanwhile, Nebraska has played against Colorado, against Rutgers, against Purdue. I mean, there's multiple. And I mean, you talk about Illinois. I mean, Illinois's got two pretty good receivers and a good quarterback too. Like Luke Altmaier, he goes under the radar. We can talk about that game in a little bit. I
do like Altmaier.
He's a good QB. I think Rourke when he's healthy is one of the best QBs in the country. I don't think that's really like a crazy statement to make.
No.
Now, but my thing with Indiana is, one, you haven't played a secondary like this, and two, you haven't played. Your DBs have not faced a receiving room in terms of size like this, and I think that's going to be a big problem. And there's going to be chances where Raiola is going to take a shot and he's going to put it in a place, and the DB is just not going to be able to make a play on it.
Yeah,
like I like Nebraska in this situation. Now they are on the road, and Bloomington's definitely going to be packed because it's the first time Indiana's been good since the COVID season. Before that, I couldn't tell you Indiana football's been relevant in any sort of fashion. So
this could be a coming out spot for Raiola too.
He wasn't down, dude. BC is cooking right now.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. Finish what you were going to say. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm good with this one. We can move on to
Alabama, Tennessee, the SEC at 3:30. Bama favored by 3 in this game. Both these teams, started out the season pretty hot. Have both came down to some sort of sense of reality. And I feel like this is a big game in terms of like AP ranking and like these programs, but like, dude, I'm really not interested in watching this football game.
Dude, I mean, like as far as like rankings, like you said, rankings and everything, like this is a big one. But the way that these offenses are going right now, both of these offenses, it's kind of stinkers. Like Alabama's been super underwhelming in the run game in their past 2 weeks.
And Milroe's been
Okay,
good. I would
he's
say
not
above average.
that game against Georgia. Everybody kind of was like, oh, he's in, and myself included. I'm like, oh, this guy's a Heisman candidate for sure. And they've kind of taken a step back, but I mean, it's not really all his fault. Like Jeremy Bernard needs to continue to step up. Ryan Williams has kind of been their guy. I mean, he's 17 years old and he's probably the best playmaker on Alabama's roster right now, which is a little concerning.
Agree. No, dude, Ryan Williams is a different talent. Like when coming out of high school, like I watched some of his high school tape and I'm like, yeah, dude, this kid is going to just be a absolute game record because he was decommitted from Alabama and he was reclassing. So I was like, oh, where is he going? Because I thought Ohio State might have had a chance, or if Georgia could have got that kid, like that would have been nuts. But he stays at Bama, man. He's been their best playmaker for sure. I wonder what Alabama. Or let me say this: Tennessee's got to be able to establish the ground game, which they've done really well with.
They've done
with Dylan Sampson, but
I mean that's really been all they've done.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, if Tennessee wants to put themselves on the map, man. I mean, their wins this season, when we've looked at it now, NC State's not the team that it was. Oklahoma's not particularly really any good anymore.
No, you lost Arkansas.
You would escape Florida,
which is an average mediocre team.
I think Florida doesn't get enough credit, especially now they're without Wagway, so we'll see. But I think if you're Tennessee, man, you gotta also see some sort of receiver step up in this game. I mean, I like their receiving core in terms of the guys: Squirrel White, Chris Braswell, Brew McCoy, Dante Thornton. I know there's been some injuries there, but at the same time, I mean, someone's got to step up there. I mean, I would expect someone like Squirrel White getting anywhere from like 300 to 600K in NIL. Like, show the volunteer NIL program that, like, dude, you're worth it.
Or Brew McCoy for that instance. Like, where's he been at?
Yeah, I mean, he was projected to be this NFL guy coming into the season.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been it.
No, and
Boston College I think had a turnover on down.
This is the week for Nico where he's got to live up to the billing as well, because you've watched Alabama secondary against Diego Pavia look poor, and then at times against Lenora Sellers look poor. And if Tennessee can get through Bama at home, it's lining up pretty good for them. They got Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home, and then they play Georgia. I mean, they close up with UTEP and Vanderbilt, which, I mean, at Vanderbilt, that could go either way. But I mean, in a Heupel offense, like this offense has to get rolling, man. Like they've just been underwhelming this year. I didn't think that coming into the year that Tennessee would be. I know that they have some great players on defense, but
defensive-oriented team. Yeah,
I didn't think we were going to be talking about Tennessee being a defensive team this year, and that's kind of what they've been.
And that's kind of what, I mean, not all SEC teams, but like Oklahoma. Sorry, I'm really interested in this Virginia Tech game now. Oh my gosh, Virginia Tech's about to score. They're inside the 10, down to the 6. I hate their offense so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, this Tennessee defense has been elite all season. They haven't really gotten like that. Even in their loss against Arkansas, dude, Arkansas did not really look good that offensively. And I think if you can get some turnovers and get some good field position and kind of steal some points, win the hidden yardage battle, I mean, it's just going to come down to who makes less mistakes in this game. I think that's really what it is. Whoever can take care of the football better, because Alabama, while their secondary's been bad, they've been able to establish pressure, get tackles for loss, force a couple fumbles, make quarterbacks' lives hell. Now, if he has a clean pocket, it's the easiest day of his career.
Yeah.
But, you know, it happens. Yeah, I don't know. Nico's got to also play really well in this game, too.
No, yeah, I agree. He's a young kid, man. It's his first full season as a starter, but This guy was all-world, 5-star, top-rated quarterback coming out, and Heupel's done really well with quarterbacks, going from Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton, and he's got time. I'm not gonna hit the panic button on him by any means yet, but you're kind of looking for him to make a play to win the game instead of Tennessee relying on their defense and now Dylan Sampson so much in the run game.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. But Bama's not. This isn't vintage Bama. They're not.
This is not the Bama team. Like I said yesterday, man, they're a good, not a great football team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another SEC game. Number 8, LSU going to Arkansas. LSU only a 2.5-point favorite.
Weird number, man.
Arkansas is a good football team.
Yeah.
But see, I don't know, dude. This is a tough game because I like both of these teams going into this game. If I'm going to be completely honest with you,
yeah,
I think LSU's like they showed that they can win the big moment against Ole Miss. And then Arkansas, we see they can compete against anyone. And even in their 2 losses, their 1-possession losses to Oklahoma State, who is not as good. And Arkansas just kind of beat themselves in that game. And against Texas A&M, which we think is a top 10 team in the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they beat Tennessee. They come off a bye. I wonder what Taylor Green's health looks like in this game. But, he's been pretty good this season.
Yeah.
And, they've been able to run the ball with Jaquindon Jackson as well, the Utah transfer. There's a lot of stuff to like about this Arkansas team, man, and they are a pretty solid defensive group as well. They got a good secondary. They got good linebackers. Up front, they're not particularly amazing, but I still think they're pretty solid. It'll be an interesting game to watch. And this is something that, I think me and Justin will talk about, dude, because Arkansas could easily upset and win in this game, and I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, no, Arkansas they're a solid team all the way around. You mentioned Taylor Green; he's been pretty good. He's a big quarterback, man. They do got to get Jaquindon Jackson going again. He started out really hot. Braylon Russell, the freshman, last week was their guy. Andrew Armstrong can make some plays. Hasn't gotten the end zone yet this year, but he's pretty good. And they've played good defense, man. They showed up against Tennessee. They showed up against A&M. They showed up against Auburn. Not so good against Oklahoma State, but that was a little early on in the year. With LSU, man, it's that a lot of things went right for them to beat Ole Miss. This is kind of a statement game for them on the road at night. They really need it because they have Texas A&M coming up, and they got Bama, and they got to go to the Swamp, which is never easy. So if LSU is a contender this year, then they really need to show it. I think Garrett Nussmeier, easily top 5 quarterback in the country. LSU needs to find a run game. They're struggling. Kyron Lacey heating up in the last 2 weeks. Defense, not bad for LSU as of late. Didn't start out the season particularly well, but they're playing pretty well right now. And this is a tough game for LSU, man, on the road against Arkansas.
Javonte Williams touchdown, baby. He's at 25 points in fantasy.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. What a game.
Yeah.
Well, it's good news. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we hit this game pretty well in terms of both sides. One thing I will say, I'm interested to see if this LSU defense could, show what they did last week, because that was kind of impressive.
Yeah, no, like I said, man, they've been playing good defense outside of the first 3 weeks. They've kind of been figuring some things out, and they're playing well, man. And a good quarterback to even a great quarterback in college football takes you a long way. And he showed that last week. He put his nuts out on the table and led that comeback, man.
All right, our last one on the programming sheet before we get off topic. Georgia versus Texas, biggest game of the night in the SEC. I want to keep doing that for the fun. This one is definitely one of the games of the year. Georgia, who's been kind of underwhelming past few weeks, they got to go to DKR, and you know what? Texas has been pretty good so far this season. Now, have they played an amazing schedule? No, but I mean, they've handled their business this year, man. The only time they ever looked slow was against Mississippi State, but dude, they took care of that game and got out of there with a win. And now, hey, you're a 4.5-point favorite against a Georgia team that coming into the season, everyone thought they were going to be the big bad Bulldogs, but instead they're just the big bad criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
another kid just got kicked off the team as we're speaking, right?
Yeah. Wasn't it Colby? Or is it someone else? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's two receivers that are him and Ra Thomas now this season. I mean,
dude, I've lost track.
And if it gets to that point, what a Thomas Castellanos throw! Let's go! He just threw it. He Aiden Childs wishes.
Right.
No, I mean, dude. He just, I mean, they're in the red zone right now. Money line bet's not looking so bad after all, because they just went down 2 scores, but they just had a huge play. Anyways, aside. I just look up and I see Thomas Castellanos.
You're the only person in America that cares about that game right now.
That's not true. There's a lot of Boston College fans and a lot of Virginia Tech fans that definitely care. And some people have to care because it's their job. But no, man, in terms of Georgia, I mean, it sucks that you use Colby Young because he's kind of your big body receiver that you throw it up to one-on-one. But, I mean, you still got London Humphreys. You still got Arian Smith, Dominic Lovett. You like Oscar Delp as your tight end. Dylan Bell as well as another guy. I mean, they have receivers, man. And I like this receiving room, even if it's been a little underwhelming this season. Their offensive line's been the real concern. Rutledge has been hurt. And then, I mean, the rest of them just haven't been really playing that great. I think Beck's still been a good quarterback, though. But defensively is also kind of a concern for that team. If teams can throw it on them a little bit, that DB room ain't the same as what it used to be, and they don't get pressure like they used to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, Carson Beck, man, over 400 yards against Bama and Mississippi State. Arian Smith coming on at wide receiver for Georgia. Georgia hasn't had any run game this year. Their run game with Trevor Etienne transferring there has been very underwhelming.
I think it's more the offensive line. I mean, if you look at some of these throws that Beck is making, like, it's kind of impressive.
But they got like 2-3 guys on their offensive line that are projected pros. Like,
well, you know what? Zach Wilson was a projected pro.
I mean, but still, I mean, at some point, I mean, the cream rises to the top.
I mean, yeah, I think they've been underperforming a little bit.
I think in Georgia's been battle tested a lot more than Texas has this year. I mean, yeah, Texas has steamrolled a bunch of people, but this is really like their first test. You know what I mean? And
we thought it was Michigan, but Michigan's ended up.
No, Michigan's they're
despite
not
what
on
the
that
AP.
level.
Despite what the AP tells you, they're not a top 25 team.
Yeah, no, they're not on that. They're not really on that level right now.
I also don't think Clemson's the same team that Georgia played week 1. Oh, no. How do you drop that? Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Clemson's definitely a different team. I mean, Kentucky's tough. Bama's tough. I mean, Auburn, you know, they always got talent, but obviously they're not very good ever. But, yeah, no, I think Georgia – I mean, definitely between Bama, Kentucky, and Clemson have had much bigger tests this year than Texas. And I don't know, man. If this is the game for Texas that really solidifies if they really are the far and away number 1 team in the country, like I think they are.
Oh my God, Boston College just missed. Oh my gosh, dude, this game is stupid. I'm done. They just. So Boston College has only kicked 1 field goal this year, right?
Yeah.
And then they line up, they fumble the long snap to the holder, and Virginia Tech recovers the fumble.
Wow.
Craziness. And Boston College is still going to end up winning this game somehow. Yeah, that was terrible. Oh my gosh. All right. We want to get into our best bets.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let me remove this for a second. For the sexy guy on the left, that would be Justin Pollington. His line or his slate of your 5 best bets. So if you have FanDuel, have a Caesar Sportsbook, BetMGM, any sportsbook account that has college football available to bet, this is what Justin's telling you should do, and what he's probably going to do as well. Oklahoma State, BYU under, Louisville +5, Nebraska +6.5, Tennessee money line,
Yep.
and LSU -2.5. For me, I got BYU -9.5, Texas, Georgia over 56.5. And my reasoning behind that is because every big game we've seen this year, Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, all that's gone over. I'm pretty sure Texas, Michigan went over as well. So it's an over party when we got these, big clash of teams. Auburn money line. I think they could catch Missouri, man. I'm not confident in that Missouri team. I've been hating on them all year. If Auburn can just take care of the football a little bit better than they need.
I can't trust Peyton Thorne, dude.
I think they could run it on Missouri, though, too, is also the thing.
They're going to need to.
I got Texas A&M plus 17.5. I think Texas. Yeah, sorry, that'd be crazy if they were 17.5 points.
Right, that'd be like minus 3,000. You wouldn't even have no money to get.
No. Texas A&M. I think they're a good team. They should handle business against Mississippi State, although Mississippi State's not as bad as we once thought. And then Kansas State -2.5, man. I don't think West Virginia is that good.
Yeah.
At all. Like, Kansas State should win by multiple possessions. But Kansas State also just doesn't like to play complete football games as well.
No.
So, is there any other is there anything you wanted to elaborate about your picks?
Yeah, I know. Oklahoma State, BYU, I kind of went with the under. I think BYU is going to score. I don't trust in Oklahoma State to score. Ollie Gordon's still not rolling. And Bowman, I mean, he's not really a prolific quarterback. It's in Provo once again. I think BYU is going to run away with it, but I don't think that Oklahoma State's going to score a lot of points. In the Miami game, Louisville, I did +5. Louisville's at home. They're blacking it out. I think they're going to play Miami pretty tough, and they'll keep it close. I do think I like Miami by a field goal. Nebraska, Indiana +6.5. That's crazy to me. That could have been my upset pick of the week, but I wanted to go something a little deeper because I kind of feel like that number is a little wild to me, unless Indiana's offense is really that good. But I like Nebraska to cover that. And then Tennessee at Neyland. Alabama, man, they got against Vandy. I thought they would come out. If it was Nick Saban era, they would have came out and they would have smoked South Carolina last week, but instead they almost lost the game. So that's a little weird. So I like Tennessee money line in that game, and then LSU -2.5. I think that Garrett Nussmeier keeps climbing that ladder, and LSU covers this week.
All right. Now we ask you, what is your upset pick of the week?
You want to go first, or you want me to go?
I want you to go first, just because I'm totally willing to switch my pick if we do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I got Maryland at home against USC this week. This is USC's third cross-country trip in 5 weeks. They're missing key defenders, Gentry. We talked about Bear Alexander, a couple other guys. Maryland's got a solid defense. Billy Edwards Jr. to Ty Felton that's a pretty good combination. Felton, probably one of the more underrated receivers in the country, or under the radar, I should say. And then Roman Hemby, my guy, big running back, power guy. Yeah, man, that's an exhausting, back and forth, coast to coast for USC. They've been all over the place. They lost at Minnesota, probably a game that they shouldn't have lost. They haven't put 2 full halves together this year. I think this is going to be a win for Maryland, and I got Maryland it was a 7. USC's favored by 7, so qualified plus 1.5. So give me Maryland against USC this week.
All right. I was gonna go a couple directions. I was gonna go Nebraska, but that's not bold enough.
Right.
You
I mean,
want
we're off usually on a lot of these things, but we want to try to like.
see? I'm thinking really insane here. Um, and it's only because it's super circumstantial.
Right.
Do you think? Do you have an idea? Do you know where I'm going?
I kind of don't because you said you have multiple, and I don't really want to guess, man.
It's not probably what you're thinking. I just wanted to see if you would know. I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's night game with a big team coming to town.
Uh,
I'm gonna take Purdue.
oh,
You know
wow.
what? I've been losing a lot, anyways, the past 3 weeks. So if there's one that I want to get big and I want clipped and I want blowing up all over social media, Dan Lanning's like they're playing for clicks, we're playing for views. I hope you guys play for clicks in this game. And or no, we're playing for wins. I want this to be viewed. And if this happens, Justin, literally the minute that Purdue wins, you need to save this clip, have it ready, because you know what though? Ever since they switched up the offensive staff, like, dude, they dropped 49 on Illinois. A Purdue offense that's been struggling all season dropped 49 on Illinois. And like Illinois ain't a sorry defense either. So Oregon, they struggle against these like teams that they're supposed to beat, like in Idaho, like a Boise State. I know Boise State's good. They struggled against Michigan State for longer than they needed to. So man, let's do it.
Dude,
Spoiler makers all the way. Come on.
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Okay, if not though, I was gotta talk out of my ass. Let me give an actual pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like,
but you know what though? Out of context, and this is just between me and you and the fourth and goal audience. If they do win, still clip it and post it.
yeah,
Actually, a game, something that I wanted to pick. Something tells me Notre Dame is going to let one slip up this week against Georgia Tech. Notre Dame's without Benjamin Morrison, key impactful defender in the secondary for Notre Dame. And if there's one thing that Haynes King and that Georgia Tech offense can do, they could throw it deep and try to get big explosive plays. They can get it done in the run game a little bit. And Purdue does these weird things in random weeks where they drop games. So I'm gonna pick Georgia Tech.
me and Notre Dame.
Or I'm sorry, I'm picking Georgia Tech to beat.
No, you said Purdue does these random things and loses.
Oh, I meant Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Sorry, mine's all over the place. Yeah. So that's that. All right, time to get into the NFL segment. We're gonna start off with the Lions and Vikings on Sunday, playing at 1 p.m. Justin, give us your thoughts going into this game.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have Minnesota top. I mean, Minnesota and the Lions are in most people's top 3 power rankings this year. I wonder how sustainable it's going to be with Sam Darnold if he's going to keep playing as well as he is. I think that defense is here to stay for Minnesota. And the Lions are coming off an emotional loss to Aiden Hutchinson. They haven't lost as a team, but that defensive secondary against Dallas, man, with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, that could very well be one of the top safety combinations in the NFL. Aaron Glenn's starting to dial up some defense for the Lions. And this game right here, man, you're talking about the leader in the NFC North. I think I like the Lions this week.
Yeah, Vikings. Wow, they've won every game. They definitely haven't been as dominant as like they once were. To start the season, wow, the Broncos are winning 26-3. Nice. Yeah, man. I like the Lions in the spot. I know they lose Hutch, but they're obviously in the market right now, and it looks like they're contacting Hassan Reddick. So, and he's someone that I don't know if scheme fits that great, but I'd rather get like a Max Crosby or I 97 won the ticket. I was listening to it on Monday, and they were talking about Myles Garrett as a potential option. I don't think that would be the case. It's going to suck losing Hutch. I wonder what they're going to do in terms of if they're going to send a little bit more blitzes now or not than they already or than they normally will. I mean, both these Vikings coming off a bye week. I don't know, man. I liked what I saw. I mean, granted, it's Dallas, but I liked what I saw from I liked what I saw from the I liked what I saw from the Lions against the Cowboys, but I mean, to just talk about it. I mean, dude, Sam Darnold's still one of the best QBs in the league. They've been able to run the ball here and there with Aaron Jones. You would like to see him probably get into the end zone a little bit more, but so this will be an intriguing matchup, man. I will be very surprised if they are able to. Wow. So Justin's not here right now. He'll be back in just a little bit. But what I will say is, yeah, Boston College is trying with all their life right now to come back and win. They're not probably going to. That's besides the point. So let's wait for Justin to come back. Texans Packers playing at 1. The Packers, man, I mean, they could be 5-1 for sure. And I really like the Texans this year too, as well. I mean, they're 5-1 right now. And I mean, their only loss coming against the Vikings it was a bad loss, but you know what? Those happen in the NFL. I mean, it's just you sometimes are gonna got the bet in some of these weeks. CJ Stroud's been pretty good. I know Nico Collins is out with an injury for a significant amount of time right now. So it'll be interesting to see who steps up in this receiving room. Will we finally see a Stephon Diggs or a Tank Dell breakout game? Xavier Hutchinson is someone that they could definitely get some more reps at the receiver room. Joe Mixon's been pretty solid this season as well. I mean, on the flip side too, Jordan Love, when he's completely healthy, is one of the best players for the Packers. There's a reason why he's getting paid a ton of money, man. I mean, 2 one-possession losses this season. It's what it comes down to a lot of times. Xavier McKinney's been a guy to be a ball hawk, get some turnovers for this defense. Jacobs has been pretty good for this team. Jaden Reed, let's talk about him, the former Spartan, being able to be a playmaker on Green Bay. He's been their leading receiving target in terms of yards. He's also been able to run the ball a little bit. I mean, he's got 12.2 yards per rush. I mean, that's pretty good. Now, obviously, it wouldn't be as sustainable, if he was getting a more significant volume, but they use him for those home run plays, man. Yeah, we're going to wait for Justin to come back. Yeah, let's take a look at something really quickly. God, I can't believe that. Wow. I'm kind of appalled. I thought Boston College was going to make the comeback. They were down 28-21. And then, you know what? It's just stuff happens sometimes, man. That's really what it is. Pistons play tonight? No. Let's update you guys on some baseball. So the Guardians won in the 10th inning against the Yankees. And then the Dodgers currently lead the 2 of it looks like the 6th. But the Mets have bases loaded right now with 1 out. They do got a pinch hitter in, Jeff McNeil, 238 average on the season. Really don't know who this guy is, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Yeah. Justin just disappeared. I don't know where he is. If you're wondering where Andrew is right now, currently, he's going back to NASA again. They just love him down there. So he's not able to make the show. You might see some live content from us on Saturday. Me and Justin got to work an event actually, I'm not gonna give out our location, but we got to work a live broadcasting event together on Saturday, and then we're gonna go to a Buffalo Wild Wings after. So maybe my dad will actually pay for my meal for once. Yeah, wow. Julian Strother, Gonzaga legend. He put up 33 tonight for the Nuggets. Man, I don't know what to talk about when Justin's not here. There's no one I can throw it off to. Man, dude, Boston College is so sorry. I don't know. I mean, oh well. Dude, they just hit another explosive run play. Oh my god, did he go for a touchdown? No, okay, they're just showing a highlight package right now. Dang, dude. This number 33. He's been their most impressive player tonight for Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech's run game's been good all season, man. I mean, Jerome's obviously adds a different element to the run game, but this kid, I don't know how to say his last name. But, I mean, he's got like 100 yards rushing. Bashal Tootin, 17 rushes, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns. He got a receiving touchdown as well. He's been an impactful stud. So, yeah, man. Oh, wow. I don't know why I saw this game. I still don't know where Justin is. I guess the show goes on without him. We have 2 more NFL games to talk about. Chiefs 49ers being played on Sunday. While the Chiefs have been able to stay undefeated, they haven't looked pretty doing it. Now, obviously, there's a lot of injuries. You got Hollywood Brown out. You got Rashee Rice out. Isaiah Pacheco has been not healthy. I mean, there's a lot of offensive weapons for the Chiefs that haven't really been able to be impactful for them this season. They have Kareem Punt stepping in. They have some sort of receiving room. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, he was one of the I think in their last game, because they just came off a bye week, right? Yeah, I want to say they just came off a bye. Yeah, so when they played New Orleans, I mean, Juju was able to be a guy to have some. Wow, dude, the Saints just started out so hot and fell off a cliff. Talk about that. They're currently down 26-3 versus the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are dealing with a lot of playmakers on offense due to injury, but their defense has been able to stay solid and stay stout. 49ers wise, man, I mean, they were able to get a good win versus the Chiefs. Did they had a bye week as well, didn't they? No, okay, they did play. Oh, they played on Thursday. Thursdays feel like bye weeks. You forget they play on Thursday, and then they come off on extended rest. It looks like CMC's not coming back for this game. For the 49ers, looks like Mason might not be ready to go too. So it'll be interesting to see who they throw in at running back. It's going to be Garendo probably, which I think Garendo's pretty good. Louisville running back, ran a 4.3 at the combine. He was the second back at Louisville last year. Jawar Jordan was the one that carried a lot of the load. But, I mean, that's besides the point. They still got other playmakers on this team, man. You still got Debo. You still got Kittle. You still got Ayuk. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Jawan Jennings is another guy that's pretty impactful for 49ers as well. Defensively, let's talk about it, man. 49ers have been not so good on the defensive side of the football. Have allowed 20 now 3 times. And, I mean, against Arizona, Los Angeles, and Seattle. But, I mean, teams like New England and against Minnesota too. And against LA. Never mind. They've allowed 24 plus times. I mean, New York's still able to drop 19 on you, and New England getting 13. So, I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, I mean, this 49ers defense has been like kind of disappointing this season. It's not the defense that we saw last year. And I think that's something if the Chiefs are able to scheme up some plays in this game and maybe win some field position or maybe get a turnover, I think they could take advantage of it. Now the Chiefs defense has been pretty good, especially as of late. And yeah, I mean they could scrape out with another victory, man. That's kind of just been their motto. Win by any means possible has been the motto for the Chiefs this season. And then our last game, the Monday night game. This should be a good one, man. Ravens versus the Ravens versus the Bucks. Oh, there's another 2 Monday night. Huh? And they're putting okay. Now, this is a problem. Why is there just I mean, I guess no one really cares to watch the Chargers and the Cardinals. But seriously, why is there a ESPN Plus Monday Night Football game? Who is going to pay money? No, that's terrible. I'm sorry. The NFL, shame on you for doing this. I mean, you're already having a Peacock game in the playoffs last year with the Ravens and Chiefs. Now you're going to make an ESPN Plus. You have Amazon Prime freaking every Thursday. This is a problem. Yeah, but getting my frustration out of the way. I mean, the Ravens, they had a good win against the Commanders last week. That was a really good football game, man. And then on the Buccaneers side, yeah, they've been good. Been good this year. They got a pretty big win versus the Saints in their last game. They lost a close one to the Falcons in a thrilling fashion. The Broncos got the best of them. But I like this offense for Tampa Bay, and it's been pretty good throughout this whole entire season. I mean, Baker Mayfield's been one of the best quarterbacks in football so far this year. He's kind of gone a little bit on. No one really talks about Baker the way, Sam Darnold and this and that. Baker's one of the best QBs in football right now. Bucky Irving's been a really nice surprise and kind of giving a different look to this Buccaneers offense. Godwin's been their number one guy in the receiving room as well. Chris Godwin, dude, and he's been just relatively consistent every single year. And he continues to get it done. And this defense does enough, man. I don't think this defense, there's nothing that particularly stands out about them, but you know what? They're able to get it done and get them to win football games. I mean, that's all that really matters. On the Baltimore side, Lamar is Lamar. And like we said a couple weeks ago with me and Andrew, man, I mean, Lamar is going to be an MVP candidate. He's passing for 1,500 yards. Has 12 touchdowns total, only has taken 7 sacks on the year, which is pretty impressive, 8.7 yards per attempt. And then Derrick Henry has been a really nice counterpart to the running game for them. So receiving-wise, Rashad Bateman got to go in a little bit last week. Zay Flowers is obviously their number one guy. They got 2 tight ends they like to use. Defensively, I like this team. Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. There's a lot of things to like about this Baltimore team. Sorry, guys, it's late. Do we wait for Justin to come back? I don't know. I think I did a solid job quickly breaking down everything. And you know what? That's just going to happen because I'll be completely honest with you guys. If you're listening into this, we can have a little honest conversation. I'm not the most knowledgeable about the NFL. I mean, I watch the games that we talk about. Other than that, I don't go out of my way like I do with college. And if you know me and you've been following my content for a little bit, my journey, you'll know that I used to be only a college football and league podcast. But with that being said, I don't think Justin's coming back. So I'm going to end up wrapping it up here. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Sorry about the programming issue, or it's not the programming issue, the technical issues. Justin's currently taking care of something that doesn't need to be mentioned on air. But no, Justin's fine. He's not dying, okay? He's just, he had a bad night with Taco Bell, man, and it's getting the best of him right now. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate you guys supporting us, whether you're just liking our TikTok videos or watching the full houred episodes every single week, multiple times a week now. We really appreciate it, and we want to continue and grow as a family. We want to be a family, and we want to be able to push out content for you guys, be able to do things for you guys, and we want to do it together. So make sure you guys are like, subscribe, and share it with people. Yeah, that's really all I got to say, man. We'll see you guys on the reaction side.